less revenues for the government. We discuss in this episode of the Chiefs. Welcome to the special episode of the Chiefs, and with us right now are Ana Marie Pamintuan of the Philippine Star, Lucy Cruz Valdez, the head of News 5, and Robbie Alampay of One News from the Channel 5 newsroom.
Good evening.
Happy midweek.
Yes, happy midweek. Yes.
Ako naman unang sa balita.
O, sige.
Nahuli si Howie Severino.
Oo nga.
Ano ba?
Uminom daw sila.
Hawi talaga, oh!
Uminom ng tubig.
Uminom kaya tinanggal daw niya yung mask
Siya
niya.
nakakatawa yung parang, oo, pero nung nahuli daw siya, tapos na raw siya uminom. parang nakakatawa lang, di ba na, oh my, talagang pag inom mo, dapat pala talaga, balik agad.
Pero pinakawalan.
And this is supremely ironic, among other things, because we do know Howie has been very transparent about this. He tested positive before he went through the entire. No, he went through the whole process. He recovered. So you would think if there's anybody who's very, very conscious about this and who has in fact campaigns to help educate the public about protocols and how to behave out when you're out and so on. Howie has always been there, but beyond Howie, it really raises the questions of how much what do the enforcers understand or appreciate about when they say that we need to implement the protocols. I mean, are we all speaking the same language here?
Yeah. Hindi, tsaka,
Hindi siya nagmamanyanita.
Hindi naman. I found it interesting na parang talagang nagpatrol sila kasi nag-positive si Mayor Joy, no? On the day na nag-positive si Mayor Joy. So parang feeling ko, nag-double down siguro kasi no less than the mayor actually got infected, no? So parang, and yet every day I see it on the news because I'm working from home, no? Na ang dami-dami rin talagang hindi naman nag-observe.
Yeah.
And one time I did go to the hospital. I saw so many people out on the streets na hindi rin naman naka-mask, no? So parang you really begin to wonder, ano ba talaga yung standards? Are we really this strict or what?
Baka mapilitan tayo ngayon talagang mag-tighten ng requirement sa mask kasi sinabi ng World Health Organization, may acknowledgement sila that there is emerging evidence lang naman, but at least they acknowledged it, that the COVID virus might actually be airborne.
So, aerosolized daw.
Yes. Acknowledgement nila ng mga hinihingi ng mga health experts around the world. So ayan, baka bago yung mga protocols natin yan for mask.
Ang sa akin, I mean, not to blow it out of proportion, but part of what's interesting for me what happened to Howie. It's not just Howie. Diba? You can imagine this happening to a lot of people na meron tayong mga footage ng mga nasa krami na sine-seminar. Diba? But it goes to when people say, ang diskumpiyado kami halimbawa sa anti-terror law, na hindi lang dahil sa nakalagay sa batas, because diskumpiyado kami kung how the police will be implementing this. And then what seems like little things like this actually illustrates the same point. Kung yung ng protocol lang sa DCQ, nagkakalituhan na tayo kung ano yung kailangang arestuhin or kailangang imbitahin para sa krame. Paano pa pagdating na sa usapan ng terorismo? Diba? I mean, it goes to what people are saying that part of their problem is we don't really know how the police will be interpreting it regardless of how the law is written.
Hindi ka naman daw dapat mangamba, Robbie, sabi ng presidente. Kung wala ka naman daw talaga, hindi ka naman terorista, di ba?
Yun nga yung point ko. Pagdating sa protocols pa lang ng ECQ, yun din yung mensahe. Wala ka naman kailangan pangambahan kung pusunod ka naman sa lahat ng protocol. Kasi ito lang uminom ng tubig, you already crossed the line.
Siguro, matatanong natin about enforcement of protocols yung ating guest. So let's welcome him. Senator Tolentino. Are you there?
There
Yes.
you go. Hi, Senator Francis.
Hi, good evening po. Good evening, Senator.
Hi, sir.
Ayan na pala si Ed eh. Ed, ikaw na. Nawala. He dropped out.
Sorry. Medyo iffy minsan yung internet eh.
Hinihintay ka namin. O, yan ka na.
Hi, good evening, Mr. Senator. Mr. Senator, of course, the Senator is the chairman of the Senate Committee on Local Government and Urban Planning, Housing, and Resettlement. Sir, you have a proposal to put in tax deductions for those who are working from home. That sounds like a good thing for a lot of consumers who are working from home. Kasi siyempre, bawas sa buwis yan eh. Pero una-una, yung particulars po, what exactly do you have in mind? By how much? And can we afford it?
Oy, by the way, among the four of us, ako lang ang pwedeng makinabang dyan. Work from home ako. Ito yung nasa mapasok.
Wala na.
I wanna hear this.
Nag-work from home si Robbie for a couple of weeks.
Oo, meron pa rin.
Balik ka
Pwede
na.
pa habulin yun.
Yeah,
Tama
Senator.
ba yun?
Yes.
Tama ba yun, Senator?
Yes.
Pwede bang habulin yun nung mga nag-work from home at bumalik na sa trabaho? Sa proposal niya.
Retroactive.
Retroactive. Hindi. Anyway, yung tanong po ni
Came
Ed.
up during our Senate Energy Committee hearing when we were tackling the spike in Meralco rates, the shocking bills received by our consumers. So I suggested that probably it's about time that we amend the National Internal Revenue Code or even the Telecommuting Act, which is a law here in our country, which would provide additional tax deduction benefits for those who were forced, not out of their own volition, but out of company policies because of the present COVID-19 pandemic, to work in the comforts of their home, but which resulted in a corresponding increase of their electricity bills. And which likewise resulted in lesser electricity bills for the employers, whether it be private or government. So
Yeah.
what I'm contemplating, and I'm hoping to have this filed by Monday, is to amend our existing tax structure in such a way that those who are working inside their outside their usual offices would now be granted either a fixed monthly tax deduction when they pay their income tax, or the employer will just, in the alternative, the employer will just give a fixed amount to the employee working in their homes, which would be considered as a business expense and thereafter deductible on the part of the employer. So it's a win-win situation, reciprocal on the part of both employees and employer, because what is happening right now is that the employee is having the burden. You're increasing your electric consumption, at the same time you're imposed as well corresponding VAT. So it's not your choice, but that's the rationale.
Senator, Senator, gaya nga po na sabi niyo, win-win para sa employer at saka sa employee. Paano sa side ng gobyerno? The government and the national treasury and our revenues are the ones that are going to take a hit. Have you what it will mean
Yes,
for
I just mentioned that when the employee or the consumer, the electric consumer, pays his or her electric bill, there is a corresponding value-added tax already imposed. So if we are thinking of a lesser economic burden for the employee because of his or her productivity, it is likewise matched by some levers, which would probably be a playing field, so to speak. So the employer gets the production, the output, the employee gets the deduction, the government still gets the value-added tax generated from the electric bill.
Senator,
Pero, sir-
sorry po, mag-break muna tayo. Medyo mahina po dating ninyo. Medyo ayusin lang natin yung audio. We'll just pause for a break. Don't go away, everybody. The chiefs will be back. is Senator Francis Tolentino, and we're sorry about that. You were talking about the tax deductions that you're proposing, but we are running out of time. Medyo bibilisan ko lang. Tatanungin ko rin kayo, Senator, about your proposal for partial face-to-face classes. Paano yung I mean, we will need some specifics kung paano yung balak gawin. How do you envision this happening without endangering the health of students, lalo na yung mga bata?
Alam niyo po, I was asked yesterday, sabi nila, kung magiging maganda po ba yung resulta ng blended online. So ang sabi ko, baka hindi kayanin ng August 24 because we still have some connectivity issues like what I'm experiencing right now.
Yes.
So sabi ko, baka merong mga areas na talagang COVID-free. So I have a list with me, si Kihor is really COVID-free as of yesterday. No single case, as well as Guimaras, as well as Aurora, as well as Sagada in Mountain Province, as well as Doña Remedios Trinidad. So sabi ko, instead of using full online, or why don't we have a partial face-to-face in areas na zero outbreak talaga? Batanes, Quirino, so identified naman yan, observing the appropriate protocol. But again, I leave that to the health experts. Sabi nga ni Presidente, hanggat wala pang vaccine, I'm still for online. Kaya lang, yung ibang mga areas, talagang they don't have, they will experience connectivity problems. But there are areas in the country that are really COVID-free.
How do you feel about the August 24 opening of school of classes?
I'm not in favor of that. I'm not in favor of that.
Why not?
If we can still adjust, because I was the one asking Deputy Secretary Briones to have a dry run first, how we will execute this. It's not a perfunctory function on the part of DepEd. I know they will be having a hard time. So we passed a bill, both houses, and it's awaiting the signature of the President, authorizing the President of the Philippines to the DepEd Secretary to further move it, to further adjust it, but complying with the 220-day requirement provided for by law. So, kailangan pa siguro ng konting palugit.
But when would be the earliest under that bill that we can actually open the schools again?
It will
In other
depend
words,
now on the judgment of the President. So it can either be October. We have to monitor exactly what's going on the ground. We have to look at in a realistic sense this mail storm that we are facing right now. So judgment call yan.
Sir, kumustahin ko lang po. Total, nandito kayo, samantalahin ko na lang. You are, of course, also former chairman of the MMDA. What is your assessment of the traffic schemes, the road schemes, and everything that's going on in trying to move the people in Metro Manila again?
Well, there's a big difference between your normal traffic situation and what we're experiencing right now. I congratulate them for doing some innovative adjustments, especially as regards the bus stops near the connected to the MRT3. But again, we have to adjust. It's a function probably that you can describe as entering a race without a finish line. You have to adjust, readjust, and adjust almost every day. So I congratulate them for exerting all efforts, and really need the help of all the stakeholders here.
Pagdating po specifically sa mga bisikleta sa EDSA and our major thoroughfares, where do you stand? What do you encourage?
I was the one who proposed that. I was modesty aside. I've been writing ever since the IATF. And then during several Senate hearings, together with the other senators like Senator Cayetano, we've been espousing that. And if you recall, modesty aside, I established several bicycle lanes during my term, from Commonwealth to Adriatico Circle, and even portions of EDSA. So I encourage that. I even berated MMDA when they tried to find some cycle groups, especially during that World Bicycle Day event in Commonwealth.
Senator,
Senator, I read that you actually expressed sabihin na natin, wonderment, okay, or questions about why there were no cashless transactions at MRT3, and now we've seen that there are 198 COVID positive workers for MRT3, which is why it's closed now, no? Ano nga ba ang nalaman nyo, kung tinanong nyo man, ano nga raw ba ang dahilan kung bakit yung mga jeepney cashless or ni-require nilang mag-cashless, pati mga Grab, pero yung MRT3, which caters to so many passengers, ay hindi nakapag-cashless?
Secretary Togade is a good friend of mine, but I just raised that point because, as you said, we're requiring the other major stakeholders of the transport sector to be cashless, pero the government operated or managed transport system is not cashless. So I'm still waiting for the answer. But be that as it may, I think we've learned some lessons here that if we're trying to impose a cashless transaction system for all public utility vehicles, we might as well include the government-operated and government-initiated transport systems like LRT or MRT. Kasi talagang dapat
Dapat po yung nauna eh.
dapat sila yung nauna. You'll not be able to sugarcoat the data, ilan yung nagkasakit, but they have to do that.
Senator, you're also a former mayor of Tagaytay. Ngayon, itong IATF and even including Malacanang, of course, gusto nila the local governments will take a greater role in enforcing health protocols. Lalo na ngayon na nag-i-spread na yung maraming mga na-stranded sa Manila, kumakalat sa buong Pilipinas. Sa tingin nyo, anong pwedeng gawin ng mga local governments? What can they do more by way of preventing the further spread of the virus at this point?
I think they have done a lot. We should give credit where credit is due. I think they've done a lot. The LGUs that I've mentioned, Guimaras, Singapore, La Union, Aurora, the LGUs, the official done there at the forefront of lockdown, screening, checkpoint. They've done a lot. There are just some aspects to this beyond their control. For instance, the initial lack of testing mechanisms, but given the vastness of the problem, I think ang babagsakan nito LGU eh. Even yung tourism revival, LGU.
Yes.
Lahat ito LGU eh. So the government has no monopoly of solutions to this pandemic. And I have always said, we may have some national or even global problems, but the solutions will always be local.
Yeah.
Okay. Governor, Senator, nabanggit niyo po yung ibang mga areas, no? Guimaras, no? Siargao, Bohol, and so on. And in a way, they're blessed. In a way, they're blessed because they are islands. They're isolated from the rest of the country. The Department of Tourism is talking about tourism bubbles. Baka viable yon. On the other hand, it's a landlocked area. Malaki rin ang tourism revenue ng Tagaytay. Saan po lugar ang Tagaytay dito? On the one hand, you do need the tourism that is to open up. On the other hand, you are landlocked and part of mainland Luzon, very near Metro Manila and Southern Tagalog. Saan po lugar ang Tagaytay dito and put it forward for the industries there?
I'm glad you raised that issue because we're the hardest hit. We imposed the lockdown mechanism as early as January after the eruption of Taal volcano. So mula January hanggang ngayon, naka-lockdown pa kami. And tourism is practically dead in the city, except for some restaurants which just opened 2 weeks ago. It's practically at a standstill. So your question, where do we stand? I think there's a good avenue for a tourism rebound because some domestic tourists would be refraining from using airlines to travel to other distant places and would be constrained to just using land travel. So Tagaytay will be your nearest tourist destination, and I hope
Yes.
we can pick up. That's why I'm always supporting domestic tourism through the small businesses. We have to help the small bed and breakfast. We have to help the small carinderias. We have to help the small restaurant owners. Sila dapat yung bumangon, and the figures would show 12.7% of the GDP comes from tourism, domestic tourism in particular.
Okay. Senator Francis Tolentino, unfortunately, we've run out of time. I would like to thank you for joining the Chiefs.
Thank
Good
you.
evening po.
Salamat po.
Salamat.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am.
Okay.
Thank you, ma'am. God bless. God
Okay,
bless.
and we'll pause for another break. Don't go away. The Chiefs will be back.
Welcome to this special edition of the Chiefs. We are now in the final stage of our conversation, and joining us is the governor of the province of Ilocos Sur, Ryan Luis Singson. Governor Singson, welcome to the Chiefs.
Welcome.
Magandang gabi po, Ma'am Lucy, Ma'am Ami, Sir Ed, and Sir Robbie, and sa mga viewers po natin.
Magandang gabi po sa inyo. I mean, bihira natin makumusta ang Ilocos. Let's start with that. How is your province? And for that matter, how is the Ilocos region?
Well, okay naman po. Kung tungkol po sa COVID, dito sa Region 1, Ilocos Sur lang po ang na-classified as low-risk MGCQ. So mas relax po yung movement namin dito sa loob ng Ilocos Sur. But again, we have to be very strict sa ating mga borders, yung mga papasok po ng Ilocos Sur.
Yes.
Gov,
Sir, paano po naiba yung paano po
Yes.
naiba at paano nangyari yun na naiba pa yung sitwasyon nyo sa Ilocos Norte?
Well, with Ilocos Norte naman po, halos nagsabay lang po kami. They had 4 cases. We also have 4 positive cases. Nag-negative lang po yung last case namin siguro before na-declare po yung last classification. Si Ilocos Norte, I think, had 1 more positive case. So, hindi ko po lang alam kung ano yung matrix na ginawa po ng IATF, pero kami po ay nagpapasalamat. Pero halos ganoon naman po, pareho lang yung MGCQ, mas relax lang po within Ilocos Sur.
pero yung latest nyo na COVID positive, Governor, parang hindi pa nga siya dyan nakakuha ng virus, hindi ho ba? OFW siya from Taiwan. At parang na-quarantine muna siya sa isang hotel dito sa Maynila bago siya umuwi dyan, hindi ho ba? So ano ang masasabi nyo doon na parang napasok kayo ng from the outside, no, literally, at pero na-contain nyo naman, no, thankfully. Anong ginawa nyo? At kumusta na po yung pasyenteng yun?
Yes, ma'am. Actually, yung pasyente po ay isang OFW. Actually, 1 month po siya na-quarantine sa Manila with negative results. Pero after 7 days ho, pagdating po dito sa Ilocos Sur, labas po yung mga symptoms ng COVID. So nung nagpa-test po siya, lumabas po na positive. And she was also pregnant. Pero as of, I think last week ho, nag-negative na po lahat ng cases namin and safe naman po yung baby. So when we found out, nung nalaman po namin na nag-positive po, as what we usually do, even during our first case of COVID-19 dito sa Ilocos Sur, na-lockdown po kagad ang barangay.
Kumusta po yung naging contact tracing doon? Kasi kung sinasabi ninyo na it took 7 days bago siya naging symptomatic, tapos nag-positive, so may ginawa na ba kayo kaagad na contact tracing to make sure na hindi na siya nasundan?
Yes, ma'am. Even before nag-positive po yung case niya, maganda po yung contact tracing namin dito. So bawat establishments po na papasukin nyo, nag-iwan po kayong pangalan saka number. Tapos nakatulong rin po yung mga CCTV sa mga establishments, kaya medyo napadali rin po yung contact tracing namin.
Governor, kumusta naman yung siyempre kahit hindi masyadong masama yung problema sa COVID sa inyo, may epekto din yun sa business, especially tourism. Sa Vigan, one of the most popular tourist destinations.
Historical
site. Kumusta po yung tourism? Meron kayong UNESCO Heritage Site in the Ilocos area. Yung mga churches, kumusta na po doon?
Yes, ma'am. Actually, Vigan Ilocos Sur is a tourism destination po dito.
Yes.
And we have 2 World Heritage Sites, which is the Calle Crisologo and the Santa Maria Church in the town of Santa Maria.
Yeah.
Talagang patay na patay po yung tourism industry namin. And it is one of the worst hit industry in our province kasi lalong-lalo na po dito sa syudad namin, sa Vigan, talagang turista po yung nagpapalakas ng ekonomiya namin.
Yeah.
Pero ngayon po,
agree.
papayagan na daw dahan-dahan, di ba? Saka magkakaroon ng mga tourism bubble nga. Kasama ba kayo doon? Magkakaroon ng tourism bubble?
Yes, ma'am. Actually, we've been opening up our businesses since July 1. Yun lang, medyo nahirapan pa rin, ma'am, kasi syempre mga tourists has to come out or has to be from outside of Ilocos Sur. So we're really banking on the local tourism. So talagang we're planning, talagang in-encourage namin yung mga locals to support yung mga local businesses.
Kay Governor, still on that topic of tourism, and particularly tourism bubbles, dalawa yung airport dyan na medyo malaki. Lawag is an international airport sa Ilocos Norte. Vigan has its own airport. Kamusta po yung preparations ng both airports yan, particularly in taking in potentially visitors from outside?
Yes, sir. Actually, hindi pa po operational for commercial flights ang Vigan Airport. Ginagawa pa lang po even before the lockdown na nag-extend po kami ng runways and yung facilities. Yun lang po, tinamaan po tayo ng COVID kaya medyo na-delay na naman po yung construction ng ating airport. But with Lawag, I'm not sure pero ang alam ko hindi pa sila nag-open ng mga flights.
Okay.
Governor, ano pong timpla ng sentimiento dyan sa inyo that on the one hand, no, relatively COVID-free kayo, no? Pero on the other hand, ready na talaga kayo na tumanggap ng mga visitors from outside. Hindi ho ba nangangamba ang mga mamamayan ng Ilocos Sur na baka mamaya pasukin kayo bigla ng COVID, no? In numbers na, that far surpass your numbers now.
Yeah. Yes, ma'am. Actually, wala naman pong local transmission. Kaya we are very strict sa ating mga borders. Kaya meron po tayong mga protocols na sinusunod na talagang mahigpit po tayo. Before you enter Ilocos Sur, kailangan po may health records po kayo. Anong purpose ng visit dito sa aming lalawigan? At syempre, well-monitored po ang galaw ng bawat bisita namin na papasok dito sa Ilocos Sur.
Are your borders easy to guard?
Well, yung ganun po, kailangan talaga matinding monitoring ho. So, kaya nga pagdating po nila ng border, they have to give us the full details and honest details ho para madaling mabantayan. For example, kung ikaw po ay magsistay sa isang hotel, yun lang, we limit the movement and we still have the 10 p.m. curfew dito sa Ilocos Sur.
Governor, apart from that, yung mga kung bibisita sa probinsya niya, mag-aalala din about the personal security. Ngayon, may issue kayo with 2 policemen who are facing charges for the murder of a 15-year-old. Saka yung isa sa kanila, pinayla ng rape for involving a relative of the victim. Kumusta na po yung kaso? Ano na pong nangyayari ngayon?
Yes, ma'am. Unfortunately, we talagang sinusubukan talaga namin na i-maintain po yung peace and order dito sa amin lalawigan. Ganun ho. Meron po tayong 2 suspect na pulis sa karumal-dumal po na krimen na nangyari po dito sa amin na lalawigan. Pero ako po ay nagpapasalamat mismo kay Chief PNP Gamboa sa mabilis pong aksyon sa 2 pulis na ito na na-relieve na rin po sa pwesto at nasa region na rin po yata yung 2 suspect. So ito po yung masakit at mahirap po tanggapin na may ganitong nangyari sa aming lugar na very safe naman po generally, no? Tourist destination. Pero siguro, yun na nga ho okay naman yung police force namin, pero meron pa rin yung mga hindi bagay po na magsuot ng uniforme ng police. So ito po yung 2. So nag-file na rin po sila ng kaso against the 2 police officers. One is for murder and the other one is for yung isa po rape, pero I think silang 2 po for murder. Kasi sila lang po yung suspect kakagaling lang po nila ng police station. Tapos after sa police station, doon po namatay yung ating biktima, si Fabel Pineda, which is the 15 years old.
Hindi ba naapektuhan yung enforcement ng quarantine measures? Because it's the police enforcing all these health protocols, hindi ba? Hindi ba naapektuhan yung confidence ng public sa police?
Yun lang ang naging problema, ma'am, kasi from both parties, even the victim, may pinuntan po silang bahay late at night na wala na. Meron naman po tayong curfew, pero ang salaysay naman po ng pamilya ng biktima, parang off-duty itong 2 pulis na parang napadaan or nalaman po nila na nandun po yung mga bata. At doon na po nagsimula yung problema.
Okay.
Actually,
Anyway, Governor,
yeah.
Go ahead, Luchi.
Governor, just to set the record straight, you might want to comment on this social media item that's going around about the female women's desk officer. I think her name is Merly Joy Pascuano, na nilapitan nga niyang rape victim na yan, humihingi sana ng police escort at dininay daw yung request. Kaya nga pag-uwi niya, yun na, napatay nga siya. Ano ba talaga ang napag-alaman niyo dyan if you had done an investigation?
Well, ma'am, nung I think it was Sunday, na-meet ko na finally yung pamilya ng biktima at saka yung isang biktima po natin, yung 18 years old na rape. Yung as their statement, from the time na file po sila ng complaint, first day pa lang talagang nahihirapan na po sila. Parang dine-deny or may delaying tactics po ginagawa ng Women and Children's Desk ng Cabugao Police Station, which is yun nga po yung police natin, si Pascua. So papalik-balik po sila, madaming delay, hanggang nung araw po niyon ng July 2 at around maybe 4 or 5 p.m., nung nasa police station na po sila, talagang parang may nararamdaman na daw po yung pamilya na may mangyayaring masama. Kaya po sila nag-request ng escort. Escort lang po, pauwi. Yeah. At doon naman po ako galit na galit dahil dininay itong pulis na si Pasco, yung request po ng mga biktima. Sa tingin ko, pag doon po yung doon po nakasentro itong kwento. Kung pinayagan lang or talagang tinapos po yung complaint, hindi sana mangyayari to.
Yes.
Pero meron pa rin po tayong agam-agam na syempre, kakilala daw po ni Pasqua itong dalawang suspect as alleged from the statements na parang magkakilala, magkabaro or magkabatch or something like that. Kaya po na-delay yung request or na-deny rin po yung request ng mga biktima.
What action has been taken to, I guess, sanction Pasqua?
Well, na-relieve na daw po siya sa pwesto, pati yung dalawang chief of police ng town of Cabugao and town of San Juan, na-relieve na daw po sila. And yung mga personnel, na-relieve daw po for training yung mga personnel. Pero yung fate ng dalawang COP or chief of police, hindi ko lang po alam kung anong mangyayari. Baka po may administrative cases sa kanila. Pero yun na nga, I requested for the NBI to also do an investigation dahil syempre kailangan pa rin po natin na maging patas kasi alam naman po natin yung dalawang suspect ay pulis pa rin. So yung pamilya natatakot at yun rin po ang gusto nila na may separate investigation po ng NBI.
Okay. Napaka-incongruent na mangyayari ang isang napaka-heinous na crime in the time of COVID in a place that's relatively still COVID-free, no? So, nakaka-perplex lang noon when you think about it na the cops themselves, no, should be indicted for such a heinous crime in this season, no?
Yes, ma'am. Yun ang problema. Actually, talagang nakakalungkot, nakakagalit dahil ang mga pulis po dapat natin nang promoprotekta sa ating mga kababayan. Pero sa mga ganitong pangyayari, nawawala na po yung tiwala nila sa mga pulis. Kaya kahit nung una po, first time ko po naging governor, I was very supportive to all the programs and projects of our PNP. Talagang full support po ako para lang maibalik yung tiwala sa ating mga kababayan. Pero ganito ulit, back to zero po tayo. So again, they have to prove themselves na talagang pagkakatiwalaan ulit sila ng ating mga kababayan.
Okay. In any case, Governor, obviously this is a case that we will continue to monitor. In the meantime, balik po tayo dun sa COVID in particular. Given your situation na relatively COVID-free, relatively mas nakakahinga kayo, mas maluwag ang protocols nyo dyan and the MGCQ regime there. Sa pasukan po, ano po ang arrangements and what are you espousing for your locality and for your province?
Well, opo, mas maluwag na po yung movements dito sa Ilocos Sur. But when it comes to doon sa edukasyon, nag-meeting po kami with the school board para lang po malaman kung ano po yung direksyon na talagang pupuntahan ng ating DepEd. Madami pong surveys. Ang lumalabas po from DepEd is yung modular. So they print yung mga works ng students and all that. Meron naman po yung suggestion ng aking ama na si Mayor Chavit na yung satellite ho. Pero I'm not sure if they have already talked with Secretary Briones. Yung satellite ho ay talagang malinaw na pwedeng gamitin as a learning tool. Pero syempre pag-aaralan pa rin po yan at aproban ng DepEd. So as of now, yung modular po ang nakikita nila. And again, with the provincial government, we are there to, of course, support and help DepEd in any way we can para lang po matuloy. Kung if ever man matuloy po ang opening ng classes sa August 24.
Kayo po, kanina kausap po natin si Senator Francis Tolentino. One of his main messages was, let's trust the local governments, especially with their own people and with their own situations. And among other things, he said, kung kaya sa ibang lugar na relatively COVID, dagdagan ang face-to-face options, hayaan natin sila. Is that an option for you? Especially when you have this standing to say na look, mukhang mas kaya naman natin ng mas maluwag-luwag na protocols?
Well, tama po yun. Yung mga lugar po na COVID-free ever since before, pwede. Ang problema sa Ilocos Sur ho, medyo may naging cases po tayo and medyo syempre takot pa rin po yung mga kababayan po natin. Madali lang po kasi pumasok at lumabas ng Ilocos Sur. So for me personally, as kung pwede po sana, wag muna hanggat talagang we can prove na we can flatten the curve in our country.
Governor, medyo matagal pa, everybody knows na matagal pa tong pandemic, but every time disaster strikes, there's a lot of talk about building back better. Are you seeing any opportunities for reforms in your province because of this pandemic? Diba, never waste daw a good crisis eh. May nakikita po ba kayong area na you're planning to change for the better?
Well, as of now, meron po tayong ginagawang recovery program ng Ilocos Sur. I think it's about time we go digital. Digitalize na po namin yung kung ano pang kaya namin dito sa aming probinsya. Meron na po tayong mga proposals. Yung mga allowances po ng ating mga scholars, we are trying to get those pay centers para hindi na po mag face-to-face or lumabas po yung mga bata para kunin lang yung mga allowance nila. So those are our plans for the Ilocos Sur, yung mga recovery program. Then talagang pinapalakas na po namin yung mga livelihood. Just last week, we've been distributing swine breeders para lang po mapadami yung mga livelihood nila, mga kambing, mga manok. And of course, we have to sustain our very popular products like our longganisa and bagnet. So talagang full support po ang provincial government sa mga ganitong bagay para lang po hindi mawala ang aming mga industriya. And of course, hopefully, yung tourism ay bumalik ho. No? Hopefully, yan talagang inaasahan po namin dito sa Ilocos Sur.
By way of long-term changes, meron ba kayong binabalak? Halimbawa in traffic management, for example, o mga health measures, public health measures, may binabalak ba kayo?
Yes, ma'am. Talagang ang pinaka-importante is yung health. No? So we've been upgrading our health facilities. We're also planning to put up PCR lab tests in the future para just in case na hopefully not, no? Pero hindi natin alam po, baka may ganito na naman mga problema. So mapaghahandaan po ng aming probinsya. We have set up isolation areas, yung mga parang container vans po na ginawa namin isolation areas. Nakakalat po yan sa aming provincial hospital and our district hospitals. And talagang we're doing our best to improve our healthcare with the help also of DOH.
Governor, kumusta internet dyan? Like, are you preparing for a new normal the way most urbanized cities are, no? Na alam na nila that most of the work will probably be conducted online, especially education, no? So I just want to know, kumusta po ang state ng telco facilities dyan and internet penetration?
Yes, ma'am. Last week, we just had a committee hearing with our providers. Nag-update po sila kung ano po yung sitwasyon ng ating mga internet providers, yung mga towers po nila. So they need to add more facilities, infrastructures para po mapabilis po nila ang speed ng internet kasi syempre ho, if we want to go online classes, hindi naman po pwede yan kung walang malakas na signal. And how can we go as a smart province na maging digitalize ang aming probinsya kung mahina po yung internet? Kaya yun po ang ginawa po namin. We will work hand in hand with all these providers para po magawa nila yung infrastructure at mapaganda at mapabilis po yung internet speed dito po sa amin lalawigan.
Governor, apart from tourism, because we've been talking about tourism a lot, but apart from tourism, ano pa po yung mga industriya ng Ilocos Sur that was affected by COVID, and how do you plan to bounce back?
Well, talagang one is tourism lang po talaga ang problema po namin dito kasi yung agriculture ho ay hindi naman po masyadong nahirapan.
Yeah.
So talagang tourism lang po talaga. There are hotels already closing. Other hotels are filing for bankruptcy. So talagang hard hit po talaga. And of course, yung ano po namin, yung mga nagbebenta po ng mga souvenir shops, yan po ay talagang tinamaan rin. One is yung mga kutsero po namin ng mga kalesa. So meron pa rin po kami mga kalesa dito. Pero yun po ay patok na patok nung may mga turista. Pero ngayon po wala. So talagang hard hit yung mga kababayan po namin.
Gov, nami-miss ko na nga yung longganisa nyo eh. Baka there must be a way to have them delivered, more of them delivered over here.
Yes, ma'am. Yan po yung sinasabi po natin na they took advantage kasi mostly nade-deliver na po yung aming mga produkto even outside of Ilocos Sur. So, in a way, naging okay naman po yun kasi dati, yung mga turista po ang pupunta dito para lang bumili. So now, maganda po dito, nailalabas na po ng Ilocos Sur through yung mga deliveries and yung mga online. So I think that's also one way we're going to sell our products is to go online.
Yes.
Do
So
you
may
need
upside
additional-
naman. Yeah.
Do you need additional help from the national government? Okay naman bang suporta sa inyo? Or would you want something more from national government agencies?
I think lahat po kami mga governors, we want a lot of help from the national government po, ma'am. Talagang exhausted na po lahat ng mga ano namin dito since day one. Lalong-lalo na po yung mga mayors, talagang pigang-pigaan na po sila. Lalo po pag hanggang ngayon, for example, kung may mag-positive na naman, we do a lockdown, talagang ubos na po yung mga pondo ng ating mga mayors, pati na rin po yung mga, siyempre, like our hospitals, so exhausted na po yung mga medical staff po natin, yung mga experts po natin. So we need all the help. Talagang the only way we can beat this COVID is magtulungan po tayo, support each other para lang po matalo po natin yung pandemic na ito.
Okay.
Right.
Okay. And we'll let that be the final word. Ilocos Sur Governor Ryan Luis Singson, maraming salamat po for joining us.
Yes,
Thank you,
ma'am, sir, I just want to say also na maraming salamat po sa mga netizens at saka sa social media dahil nung nag-viral po yung rape slay, talagang nag-action na po lahat. So talagang malaking bagay po na napansin itong problema namin kasi kung hindi, talagang mabagal po yung action. So ako po yung nagpapasalamat na napansin ng mga kababayan po natin itong nangyari. Kaya mabilis po yung action ng mga ibang ahensya.
All right.
Okay. Governor Singson, maraming salamat po ulit.
Maraming salamat, ma'am and sirs. Until next time po.
Okay. And that's a wrap for tonight. Level up your viewing experience with Signal Prepaid's box-only deal. Now, only 800 pesos for prepaid HD box. Plus, load on your first month and get your second month free. Go to your nearest Signal dealer now and bring your old Digibox to get this awesome deal. You can also catch One News on the Signal Play app. You can register for a free account now at signalplay.com and stream One News live anytime, anywhere. That's all for this special edition of the Chiefs. We hope what was discussed here will keep the conversation going. I'm Robbie Alampay of One News.
I'm Ami Pamintuan of the Philippine Star.
And I'm Luchi Cruz Valdez, and we are One News.